Imagine, if you will, a world where reality and fantasy blur together in the most whimsical and absurd ways. Picture a landscape so vast and varied that it seems to stretch on endlessly, from the sun-drenched plains of La Mancha to the cobblestone streets of sleepy villages where ancient legends come alive. This is the realm of Don Quixote, a novel that invites us into a world as enchanting as it is surreal, where chivalry meets madness and dreams clash with reality. In this sprawling tale, set in 17th century Spain, we meet our protagonist, Alonso Quixano, known to all as Don Quixote. Now, Don Quixote isn't just any ordinary man, he's a knight-errant of the mind, driven by an insatiable desire to revive the chivalric code and right the wrongs of the world, much like the heroes of olden days. But here's the twist, Alonso has lost his grip on reality. He believes himself to be a noble knight named Don Quixote de la Mancha, intent on embarking on grand quests and battling evil sorcerers and damsels in distress. Don Quixote's delusion begins when he becomes obsessed with romances of chivalry, spending his days reading about knights and their deeds. His obsession turns into madness as he dons armor, mounts a horse named Rocinante, a nag really, and sets off on his adventures. He is accompanied by Sancho Panza, a simple peasant who has joined him in the hopes of securing wealth and fame. Sancho's character is fascinating because, while he is initially skeptical of Don Quixote's delusions, he gradually becomes complicit in them. This partnership between the idealistic knight and his pragmatic squire forms the heart of the novel. The setting itself plays a crucial role in shaping the story. La Mancha, with its rolling hills, arid plains, and scattered villages, provides a backdrop that is both rustic and enchanting. It's a place where time seems to move slowly, allowing for the kind of fantastical escapades that Don Quixote engages in. The villagers in these towns, who often think Don Quixote is mad, add layers of humor and realism to the story. They are the ones who keep us grounded while also indulging in Don Quixote's fanciful tales. Through Don Quixote's eyes, we see a world where imagination can trump logic at any moment. His battles against windmills that he believes are giants, his encounters with imaginary armies, and his romanticized view of love all highlight the absurdity of his quests. Yet, there is a poignant depth to his character as well. Don Quixote's unyielding belief in honor, justice, and romance makes him a tragic figure. His idealism stands in stark contrast to the often cynical realities of life in 17th century Spain. The novel also explores themes of reality versus illusion, the nature of heroism, and the power of storytelling. Don Quixote's world is one where dreams are as real as waking life, and it's this duality that makes the story so captivating. As we follow him on his various quests, we can't help but question what separates fantasy from reality in our own lives. In essence, Don Quixote is a journey through the mind of a madman who sees the world through rose-colored glasses. It's a tale that challenges us to look at the absurdity and beauty of human imagination and how it shapes our perceptions of the world around us. So, as we delve deeper into this enchanting story, let us join Don Quixote on his adventures, embracing the whimsy and wisdom of his world. So, let's dive right into the heart of Don Quixote's journey, where laughter and philosophy intertwine in a most peculiar way. This story is not just about a man who rides out to tilt at windmills. It's a profound exploration of what it means to be human, to dream, and to face reality. Don Quixote's first sally into the world is a dazzling display of his imagination run wild. He sets off with his trusty sidekick, Sancho Panza, who is initially skeptical but gradually becomes a staunch ally. This first adventure is marked by Don Quixote mistaking windmills for giants and charging at them with his sword in hand. It's a humorous moment that hints at the larger themes of perception versus reality, showing how our minds can distort what we see. As they journey on, Don Quixote and Sancho encounter various characters who challenge their sanity or reinforce their delusions. One such character is the Duke and Duchess, who trick them into believing they are knights-errant and servants to test their mettle. These elaborate pranks highlight the theme of deception and the line between what is real and what we believe to be real. The Duchess's tricks on Don Quixote are particularly cruel, suggesting a commentary on how society can treat those who don't fit in or adhere to its norms. Throughout their travels, Don Quixote often becomes disillusioned with the world he perceives through his chivalric lens. When they visit the cave of Montesinos, for instance, Don Quixote meets a group of knights who have given up on the idea of chivalry and are living in exile. This encounter forces him to question the idealism of knighthood and prompts a reflection on the harsh realities that can undermine noble intentions. One of the most poignant moments comes when Don Quixote is wounded by Duke Rodrigo, who has been pursuing his own romantic interests with Dulcinea. This injury, though not fatal, brings Don Quixote back to his senses for a moment. He recognizes the absurdity of his situation and even contemplates giving up his quest. However, Sancho's loyalty and the encouragement from the Duchess, who reveals her true intentions, help renew Don Quixote's resolve. The theme of friendship is also central to their journey. Sancho Panza proves to be a loyal companion, often providing a voice of reason and practicality in contrast to Don Quixote's flights of fancy. His relationship with Don Quixote evolves from one of skepticism to deep affection, illustrating the strength of bonds forged through shared adversity. As they near the end of their adventures, Don Quixote finally meets Dulcinea, who is revealed not as a fair maiden but as a plain and unassuming peasant woman. This moment is both heartbreaking and enlightening for Don Quixote. It forces him to confront the stark difference between his idealized perceptions and the reality around him. However, it also marks a turning point where he begins to understand that true happiness lies in embracing life as it is, rather than chasing illusory ideals. In their final confrontation with Duke Rodrigo, Don Quixote's delusions of chivalry finally come to an end. He is defeated and brought back home, where he spends his last days in a sanatorium. In this poignant conclusion, Don Quixote renounces his dreams, recognizing the futility of tilting at windmills. His final words show a wisdom that comes from experience, acknowledging the power of imagination while embracing the reality of life. Don Quixote's journey is not just about a madman chasing shadows, it's a profound meditation on the human condition. It asks us to consider the role of dreams in our lives, how we perceive the world, and whether it's better to hold on to ideals or to face harsh truths. Through Don Quixote's adventures, Cervantes challenges us to balance imagination with reality, loyalty with reason, and idealism with pragmatism. It's a story that leaves us questioning what it means to be fully alive and how we navigate the often absurd world around us. The impact and legacy of Don Quixote extend far beyond its pages, touching on the very essence of what it means to be human. Since its publication in 2 parts between 1605 and 1615, Miguel de Cervantes' masterpiece has woven itself into the fabric of world literature, influencing countless writers, artists, and thinkers. Its enduring appeal lies not just in its rich narrative, but in its profound exploration of themes that resonate with us today. At the heart of Don Quixote is a tale of an aging gentleman who loses his mind, convinced he's destined to become a knight-errant and revive chivalry in the modern world. His squire, Sancho Panza, serves as a grounding force, often bringing him back to reality with earthy wit and common sense. This dynamic between imagination and practicality mirrors the internal conflict many of us face. Don Quixote's idealism and his willingness to embrace failure and retry in the face of ridicule offer a poignant commentary on perseverance and the pursuit of dreams. The book's influence can be seen across different genres and cultures. In literature, it inspired countless imitations and parodies, challenging what storytelling could be and setting new standards for narrative depth and character development. Thinkers like Voltaire, Goethe, and Jorge Luis Borges have all engaged with Don Quixote, finding in it a rich source of philosophical contemplation. Cervantes' portrayal of the absurdity of human nature also had a profound impact on modernist writers like James Joyce and Virginia Woolf, who drew from his style to explore the complexities of consciousness. The novel's structure, blending fiction with real events and documents, anticipated the postmodern narrative techniques that would emerge centuries later. But perhaps most importantly, Don Quixote remains relevant because it speaks to our deepest desires and fears. It challenges us to question our perceptions of reality and the role of imagination in shaping our understanding of the world. In a society often defined by cynicism and skepticism, Don Quixote's unflinching belief in the power of dreams serves as a powerful reminder that hope and idealism are not luxuries but necessities. The story also delves into themes of loyalty and friendship, love and loss, and the search for meaning. Don Quixote's relationships with his squire Sancho Panza, his love interest Dulcinea, and even his enemies like the Duke and Duchess of La Mancha offer a nuanced view of human connection and the complexities of interpersonal dynamics. These characters are not just figures in a story, they are archetypes that reflect our own struggles and triumphs. Moreover, Don Quixote's journey is one of personal growth and self-discovery. His transformation from a delusional knight to a more grounded man who embraces life's challenges and joys is both inspiring and thought-provoking. It teaches us that it's okay to be flawed and to learn from our mistakes. Cervantes shows us that even in the face of adversity, there is always the possibility for redemption and growth. In today's fast-paced world filled with distractions and noise, Don Quixote reminds us of the importance of slowing down and reflecting on what truly matters. It encourages us to find joy in simple pleasures and to cherish our relationships. The novel also highlights the power of storytelling itself, how it can shape our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. So why should you read Don Quixote? For starters, it's a thrilling adventure full of laughter and tears. But more importantly, it invites you on a journey of self-discovery and reflection. It challenges you to think deeply about what it means to be human and to live a meaningful life. In an age where cynicism and disillusionment are all too common, Don Quixote offers a refreshing reminder that hope, idealism, and the power of imagination can transform our lives and the world around us. This timeless tale continues to speak to our hearts and minds, proving that great literature has the power to endure for centuries and to touch our souls in ways we never expected.